Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines 2, where we've been working a lot on traffic and subways of late, but we need to do a little bit of good old-fashioned expansion. We have a very high commercial demand, and we also have some amount of low-density residential demand. So I want to come out here first and get this low-density residential dealt with. I mean, this is a little off-center here for sure, and we're not really going to be fixing that. I think that this is just going to extend straight on out over this way, and we'll see how it ends up looking, but we need to get this highway built as like a top priority, right? So let's just get this put in over here for now. Looks reasonably okay. We will probably have pillar issues, but that's, I guess, fine. So we're just going to bring this guy up and merge these together about here, and then we'll bring this up a little further than that. Slap in our roundabout, and okay, we need to take this back over this way. Then we put in our roundabout. Then we bring this in with snapping on, please. Thank you. Okay, so that'll be fine for now. And what we need to do here is we need to grab this, snap to angle, bring this up 112 meters, which this looks like it's about perfect. So I'm just going to turn normal snapping back on for right now. I want this to snap in right over here. Interesting that we're not snapping to that. Okay, I guess we'll just position it right about here. Cool. And then this road, of course, goes all the way over here, but it looks to me like we're actually not quite at the angle we want to be at. We want to bring this out to be about here. That'll do. Now we can bring this road up, and we'll connect these in a little later on. But we can bring this road up, and that is, of course, angle snap. We're going to put that at 112, which this is about the right position here. And this angle now looks good. Fantastic. Same thing out over here. We're going to need to do another road here. 113 is close enough here. And that'll be absolutely fine. Yep, that looks good. And then, of course, this is going to have to be 224 meters up this direction. So this will end up being right about there, which is about perfect, actually. Yeah, that looks good. And we'll bring this guy over, and we'll just position it there. This is going to have to be removed for the moment due to a pillar issue. But broadly, this will be absolutely fine. So I want this to be angle snap only, and we'll just do something kind of like that. Now, we can definitely see this is at an awkward angle. No doubt about that. So we're just going to have to take this out for now, which is unfortunate. But something about like that. And I'm going to run this highway northward to about there. And we'll come back to this. So now we're just going to need to get these vertical roads, right? But I want to get us connected up over here. So we'll just make sure that these are reasonably straight here, which they should be. There'll be a little bit of correction happening, but it should be reasonably good. Okay, and these areas are going to have to be rezoned. We'll get to that. As far as this goes, this should just pretty much be, well, we'll just angle snap it. Okay, this feels a little bit off because we've got a gap here. I'm not sure why that gap exists. Maybe we chalk that up to terrain, because it doesn't look that off. But okay. So we'll just chalk it up to terrain for now. Yeah, this is more like what I expected to see. So that's absolutely fine. And we'll extend this one up. Oh, that didn't actually take the initial starting point. There we go. Now we'll bring this guy up. And that's approximately correct-ish. Actually, this is not the right starting point. Okay. We'll try that one again. Right. Not there. Right there. Okay. That should do it. And we'll bring this up to be here. Sure. That seems reasonably fine-ish. And then we'll bring this one up as well. And that will, of course, connect in right there. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the highway out about here. And we're just going to bring this in. I want to bring this in angle snap only mode. So this is just going to come in something kind of like this. And this is going to be a little low here, so this roundabout is going to have a little bit of a correction to it, but that's fine. This is a better position, anyway. I'm not sure it's a great position, but it's better. And it looks like out to the north, we have a bit of an issue with the roundabout, so we'll just take that out, put this in, and then rerun this straight on down. Okay, now we're going to need to do our ramps. I don't anticipate any major ramp issues in this area. So we'll just do something like that and something like that. No left turns. Fantastic. And then up here, we'll do our off-ramp and our on-ramp. No left turns allowed here either. Yeah, that's going to be a little messy, but that's fine. Not too concerned about that one. And out over this way, an on-ramp about here. And an off-ramp about here. Sure. There we go. No left turns, and then similarly, an off-ramp here, and an on-ramp here. And no left turns. Cool. So that's this meta block good to go, although we should probably extend this highway out, even though it doesn't actually do anything right now. If we extend further out to the east here, then we're going to want this. This is not where I wanted this to go. That's for sure. I did not want it to go into that position. Let's put it here and then here. There we go. That's slightly better. Okay, so this is low density housing, right? Yes, it is. Okay. That seems good. We're going to zone all of this as low density housing using the marquee select tool. I'm just going to grab from here, and we're just going to zone this entire area low density housing. This down here was row housing, so we're just going to get that rezoned. Cool. And that should work. So that will help our low-density residential demand, but we have a huge commercial demand right now. So coming up over this way, there's definitely some awkward scenarios going on with this highway. Let's see. This is commercial, correct? It is. So I'm thinking about developing this meta block here. We do have this marketplace, which is mildly awkward. But I think all I'm going to do is I'm going to extend out this road here. And we'll do this in angle snap only mode. This is going to be a little awkward through here. We should probably actually remove these commercial structures here and smooth out this terrain a little bit. So that's going to result in a slope terrain tool at this height from about here or so. There we go. Similar thing over here. There we go. This one is going to need to go to like this height, which, you know, will be mildly awkward, but something along the lines of that. And this fire watchtower is going to be destroyed. Okay, so that also means that this power line is quite unnecessary. Where are you at, power line? There you are. Okay. So the power line can be removed. This fire watchtower is no longer necessary. And then we can come out here and start building these roads, which is the goal. So let's grab this here and just extend that straight on up to the city limits. So about there or so. Much better than it could have been. And we'll do the same with this guy, although I'm not 100% convinced that this one will go all that well. We'll see. So this one goes up to about here. Actually, that's not bad. And then this guy, of course, is going to be slightly problematic, right? So we're going to need to extend out this road, this direction, 100 and looks like 18 meters would be the snap point here. So we'll just put that there. And now we're going to extend this guy up over this way. So I'm a little bit concerned, of course, about the overall terrain out here. We're going to bump up the size of this a little bit, and we're going to heavily soften this area. But we've got some problems with, like, this road here, for sure. And we're going to have to connect up some of these, right? So this is going to be a little bit wacky. That comes back slope too steep. So I think what we're going to have to do here is actually redo this area. So let's just soften this out just a smidge. There we go. And let's bring in this guy to be right here. Angle snap. Up to approximately the city limits, like so. Okay. Then I'd like to bring this road over. And we'll have that go to about here. It's a little awkward over here for sure. Yeah, this will be relatively fine, I think. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get rid of these. There we go. And then this road is going to need to be brought up as well. So that's going to come on up to about here or so. But I want this to be an angle snap only for the moment. And we're just going to bring that up all the way to the city limits as before. This is a problem. Okay. So that is going to have to be dealt with. So, of course, the way that we're going to do that is with the slope terrain tool, and we're just going to turn down the size of this again. Yeah, about 100. And we'll go something like that. That'll get us a more steady slope, which is what we need. Okay, so we would then put that in right about here, but I want this angle snap only up to there, and then we'll extend this over. Like that. Cool. So that'll do for now. Then, of course, we're going to have potentially other problems. Like, for example, this. That actually worked. Surprisingly. This is potentially an issue. There's a bridge out over here. Let's smooth out this area of terrain, but this worked surprisingly well, actually. I'm okay with this outcome. That's absolutely fine. So now we're going to soften out this terrain out over here, just cleaning this up a little bit. The main concern now, of course, is this section right over here. But I think that's fine, all things considered. Yeah, that's not really a problem. Cool. So this would then come in over this way, and this road would just connect straight through. We're going to have pretty much the same thing going on here, where it's not a problem because these get filled in by this side street. So I think that's completely and totally okay. Next up, of course, is going to be this street, which is going to be mildly awkward for us, for sure. We're going to bring it in and truncate it here as a dead end, and it would normally connect up here, but then we're going to need to continue it out over this way. Something like that, which actually ends up working reasonably well. Now we can bring in the highways, and we'll see how that ends up going. There could certainly be some awkward issues out over here, and this section of highway is going to have to be taken out. But there could definitely be some awkward issues over here, especially with on-off ramps. We'll see how those end up going. But this is coming back slope too steep here at a 22% grade. Okay. Yeah, that's certainly not ideal. So how do we want to get that done? Well, we could simply alter the grading here. That would mean removing these 3 sections of road, which is not the worst thing in the world. And that would, of course, mean a slope terrain tool at this height coming down like approximately like so. Okay, so something like that would do the trick. And then we would run the highway up. Then we'd have to run these back over. Because if we smooth it out now, then we're going to run into problems. Well, we're going to run into problems with order of operations any way we do this. So I'm just going to bring this up to be just something like that for now. And we'll very, very likely have pillar issues there, but that allows us to build that through. And then I would like to just soften this area out through here. There we go. And now we'll see about running these side roads through. We could definitely run into pillar issues here. We'll see if it happens. It does here, I think. No, that's actually just a space issue. Okay, that's fine. We can still work with that. So we're going to bring that out. that wasn't a pillar issue, but it was an issue nevertheless. So now we would bring this guy in to here, although that's giving us overlapping items there. So what we need to do, this is slope too steep. Okay, so we're going to have to back that off and bring this in to about here, then connect it up. In a really awkward fashion. Yeah, this is a really awkward fashion because this is the incorrect angle. This is the correct angle. Hang on. No, it isn't. Maybe this is at the incorrect angle. That's fine if it is. Yeah, I think it is, actually. I don't mind redoing that. So with this in this state, we should probably bring this road over first just to make sure. So that would be right about here. Looks good. And then the highway would come through. So that would end up being in angle snap only mode. Somewhere up over here. We could definitely put this in here. Yeah, we're getting an overlapping item here just due to the amount of space there. So we're going to need to back this off a little bit and potentially increase our elevation step a very small amount. That said, we can actually do it from here, it looks like. Yes. Right there. Perfect. So that'll do. We're a little off over on this side, but I don't care too much about that. That seems okay. Next, we're going to need to bring this highway over, and we'll see how that's ending up going. So we'll put a pillar here, a pillar here, a pillar here, connecting in right there, and then a pillar out over here. How are we doing with a roundabout? It actually just goes directly in. Cool. So that's very neat. We have that little bit of concrete there, which is not necessarily ideal. We could take that out and remake this section right here. And let's see if we can get that going. Yes, kind of. Yes. Okay. Something about like that. Looks reasonably fine. Now we can get our ramps done here. So this is, of course, going to be an on-ramp. We'll see how this ends up going. Just that is slope too steep. Okay, that's non-ideal. That's for sure. What if we were taking it out this direction? Well, I think we're going to have to take this road out for the moment. And yes, these can be eliminated. And we're going to need to potentially elevate this portion or just smooth this out a little bit with the slope terrain tool. So it'd end up being something kind of like this. And then we bring the road back through here. Yeah, that gives us overlapping items here, which doesn't really surprise me. So let's bring this road back through here. I'm deeply unsurprised that we're going to run into on-off ramp issues over here, to be clear. That is very, very, very unsurprising. So I want to position this about here. That seems fine. And then about, ooh, I don't like the way that that went. I really don't like the way that that went. Okay. This is fine for the moment. And let's extend out from here. Angle snap only. Just seeing if there's anywhere here we can do this. The answer is no, we're going to have to back this off then. Which we apparently can't do without doing that. Which is awkward, for sure. But we can extend this right back in. We have these markers, so no problem there. This can extend back in. No problem here either in theory. Although that does come back slope too steep. So we might have to back off this guy just a smidge and then bring it in. Angle snap only for the moment, and that definitely comes back slope too steep. Okay. So we're going to have to take this back even further. Very awkward here.
You're listening to
No doubt about that.
The epitome of classical listening at home or wherever
Okay,
you
let's branch it off from here. and see about taking it back this way a bit. So I want this to angle snap, and we'll just position it there. Okay, so that is just a position marker more than anything. And then I want to bring it out over this way. Right about there? We're a little too south, aren't we? We are. So this actually needs to be corrected. So that means that we need to bring this in over this way, right? But it's sloped too steep. So we're going to need to instead bring this up like this. I'm just going to remove the roundabout for the time being. And we're going to see about bringing this guy through. We might actually need to take this section out and redo this entire intersection at this point. So this is going to be in angle snap only mode connecting here and here. And then this would be in angle snap only mode connecting right down through here. That's giving us overlapping items here. And I think that's from this connection. Yeah, that's what it was from. Okay, that's fine. So angle snap only mode. And then I want this to connect in right like that. This is now showing up as slope too steep on this side. But we can do this, take this back now, and then bring this in theory. 18% grade. Okay, this is going to be a mess over here. I think there's no doubt about that. Let's soften out this area a bit. Something like that. That might help it. So that's now about a 20% grade. Okay, I feel like this can be elevated a little bit. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to connect this guy straight up over here. And we'll see about bringing this in at a higher elevation. Yeah, right there. That should be relatively fine. Slope too steep on these two sides now. So these are different sides than it was previously returning slope too steep on. Wild. Okay, so let's just bring this guy back in. There we go. And then this guy, we need to get this reconnected. So the question is where, right? Where can we reconnect this at? That's all returning slope too steep, which means we need to back this off. I want to build it out from here and connect it in over this way. That gives us about a 17.6% grade, which is certainly non-ideal. No doubt about that. So I think what we're going to need to do then is turn our elevation step down, and we're going to need to have this rise a little faster. So I'm going to be bringing this up to around a 12.5 meter position here. And then we'll see about bringing this in at 10 meter. That is now about a 14% grade, which is still returning as too steep. Okay. Also, I see a left-hand turn has developed over here. Let's turn that off. That'll be fine. This really should go in over here, I feel like. Well, we can take that back out and continue to work our way through over this way. Again, I'm deeply unsurprised that we're running into these issues, right? In this area, we definitely expect it. So what's the highest that we can get up over this way? And I want to be in angle snap only mode. That's like a 20% grade there. I mean, that is pretty excessive. I think we're going to have to remove these on-ramps over here and redo those. We're going to have to knock this back even further. So that ends up meaning that this is going to be, if we can bring this back down to 10 meters, thank you very much, more like this. And I want this to be connected like up over here, right? So let's make this be angle snap only mode. And that'll connect in like that. Now that we push that back further, we can put these guys in, and we want to have snapping on for that. So that's going to end up being something kind of like this, although that's giving us slope too steep. Sure. It's giving us slope too steep right in this area the moment we start this. So we're going to have these pretty far back, I think. So like all the way back over here. Invalid shape. Really? Fascinating. All of these locations are giving slope too steep. This one is not. Okay, I guess that works. Sure. We'll call it good. That's fine. Yeah, there's a pillar clipping through, but I'm sure it's okay. Now, as far as this goes, I have no idea how this is going to go. Slope too steep at a 25% grade. Yeah, we're going to have this be a fair amount wider, no doubt about that. This is coming back at a 27% grade. We've got this area dealt with, but now we have all of this area to work on, right? And it's going to be kind of painful. Let's see how this one goes anyway. That works just fine. So no problem there. Let's get that done, and these out over here are probably going to be relatively okay-ish. We're going to have to space them out a little more, almost certainly. That's a 22% grade. Noted. Yeah, it's going to be a little rough. No doubt about that. It's going to be quite a lot rough, probably, actually. So this might have to end up being elevated, this road here. We're going to have to do some terraforming there. I think that's very, very clear. So let's check up over here real quick, see if we can get those done anyway, and we absolutely can. That one comes back slope too steep unless we put it back over here. So I'm just going to take this guy back, and we'll just put it in up here. Okay, that'll work for now. No left-hand turns allowed here. So we're able to get these two, but these two are going to require additional work. And it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go... Oh, I hate the angling on this highway. Okay. Goodbye, highway. We're going to have to re-angle that highway. And it's going to be based off of the angling of this highway here. I think we'll take... how about this point? Hopefully that'll be reasonably fine. We've got some overlapping items here, which isn't hugely shocking. Let's just bring this down to be... Where's that spot? There's a spot right here. There we go. We can drop a pillar here, then a pillar here, and then, in theory, connect this in over here, but we're getting overlapping items, so we'll put a pillar here and connect it in like that. Okay. So there we go. That is much less horrific in terms of how straight it is, so that'll be good. This guy will just go up to the city limits up here, and can we get the roundabout in? Yes, we can. Can we replace these off-ramps? It should be absolutely fine here. Curve tool, please. And this will come in up over here. That's coming back slope too steep. Okay. Overlapping items here. Yeah, it's going to require some terraformation here, I think. Let's get rid of this road. Let's just soften this out a little bit over here and then rerun this road quick. I just want to get these ramps. I want to get this back to where it was, right? So this is going to need to be carved out a little bit. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to use the slope terrain tool, and we're just going to slope it like that. Okay. Then that will connect up here. That will solve that problem. Then we're, of course, going to need to go into our highway, and we're going to need to do an off-ramp here and an on-ramp about here. There we go. So we have this back to where it was before I decided to change the angle of this highway. Cool. And it is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to get these on-ramps dealt with, and then we're probably, well, we're going to zone this area for sure. But then after that, we're probably going to work on additional subway. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. I always forget that it doesn't play the music while I'm saving. There we go.